Hello boys and girls, my name is White Rhino PSO, and today I am playing Orion Trail. Now, this game is sort of loosely based on the old DOS game, the Orion Trail, except in this you have a lot more choice when it comes to the different events that pop up. It's a lot less serious because technically the Orion Trail was an educational game. And obviously it's a science fiction setting rather than the mid-1800s. It's also kind of based on the original Star Trek series, as you can tell by the different outfits and some of the flavor text you'll see in the game. The rest I can explain as we go. There's a number of different missions you can choose, which I believe you unlock the next one just by completing a previous one. This is a brand new save file for me though, because I've watched a few videos on this game, but I haven't actually played it myself. So the only one we have unlocked right now is the Wilkie May. A sister galaxy to our own, the Wilkie May is nearly identical. Efforts to explore this sector have been put off because it's really annoying to refer to it by name. First things first, you have to choose a captain and 3 officers. Each of them have different stats that you want to build up your stats by choosing particular crew members. There's 2 different options on how you want to do this. Some people like to take crew members that give like a spread across the stats, and some people like to just hedge their bets by, I think that's the right term, hedge their bets by focusing completely on just a few stats. I think of the 3 options I've got right here, I think I'm going to go with Alex, because he gives a bonus of 2 to diplomacy and bravado and 1 to science, whereas Rhino gives 1 to everything, and the Space King, well actually, yeah, I'm going to try spreading out my points just a little. Alex Soup Campbell, a seasoned captain with plenty of stories to tell, Campbell is the kind of guy who often finds himself in trouble for trying to do the right thing. Said trouble has led to a reinforced hull. You can rename each of your captain and 3 officers, but I like to keep them as is, because all the different captains and crew members and the crew for your ship itself were all, I believe, named after Kickstarter backers, so I prefer to leave them as is. Alright, so there's our captain in his chair. First officer, let's see, Tamir has tactics and bravado, Colonel Bananas has 3 tactics, and Rarit has 2 attack and a tactics. I think I'm going to go with Bananas. The ridiculous result of a brain-enhancing test serum. Colonel Bananas has since enlisted in Galaxy Force to put his intellect to good use. His plans are unconventional, but nearly always succeed. Welcome aboard. Chief Engineer. Let's see. I could give us a boost to tactics, diplomacy, and science. 2 diplomacy and 1 attack. I don't have any attack right now. You know what? I think I'm going to go with Danalog, because I don't have any attack, and having a slight bonus is probably better than no bonus, and it'll help push our diplomacy up as well. A defective defector from the notorious Analog Collective, Danalog has provided key intelligence in the war against his backwards kin. As an officer, his methods are as primitive as his hardware, so I guess he's... oh yeah, he's a robot. It's just he has like a mustache and a really nice hat. And finally, the communications officer. 2 tactics and a bravado would be nice. Or a tactics, a science, and a bravado. I'm kind of low on science, so I think I'm going to go with Haruna. As a cadet, Haruna served for only a few weeks before being promoted to first officer. Now Lieutenant Akatsuki is assigned to ships in need of her reckless curiosity and unpredictable wild side. Alright, so kind of like in FTL, you have a really big galaxy map to go through, which you can zoom through at any time. I forgot about this part. Choose your starting resources. You have 8 credits, and you have to decide how many bonuses you're getting to your 4 different ship stats. You have crew, food, fuel, and hull. Each time as you move, you'll be using food and fuel, so I think it'd be a good idea to give those quite a bit of a starting bonus. And I think I'm just going to even out the rest with crew and hull. So yes, these are all the different... Each major spot you hit, I believe you're definitely going to get an event. You also have chances of getting events between the major stops, and each of these dots will cost you a little bit of food and a little bit of fuel. Oh, and then signal detected. I believe this is a away mission, which is like a much bigger, more detailed event, and I'll get to the difference between that and a normal event in a bit. But for now, the Invincible II, which is the name of our ship, is over here. So my choice right now is between a Class K star, a high mass star near the end of its lifespan, which has the potential to give us food, or a Class X star, a green star, very unusual, which has a chance to give us crew members. I think I'm going to go with the food because I know that food and fuel are going to be very necessary throughout the mission. But as the ship flies, you're going to be able to see each little dot costs us a bit of each of those resources. Alright, the first event, Dimensional Rift. Your anomalocator whirls to life, alerting you to a developing interdimensional rift ahead. This is your chance. Rifts like this one are the piñatas of deep space. Be ready for anything. So, you get 3 choices, and they correspond to different stats that your crew gives you. It also tells you what each of them will cost and what each of them will potentially give you. So, for instance, this top one, fly into it but do it backwards just in case. It works with my bravado score. It has the potential to give us food, and take that little question mark box means it will potentially cost us any possible one of these. It's random. Whereas this one will give us food at the potential cost of hull. Of the options, I have equal diplomacy and bravado. I'm going to go for flying into it backwards. You hear a few whimpers from your crew as they issue your order. Alright, once you choose what event you're going to... once you make your choice about how you're going to handle an event, you're shown the probability drive. Now this is basically the game's way of randomly choosing the outcome of your event, but you can influence it. The stars are critical successes, the check marks are successes, the X's are failures, and the skull is a critical failure. Now, see how there's a 3 bonus? That bonus turns failures into successes, and if you ever run out of simple failures through your bonus, then it starts turning successes into critical successes. So you hit engage, it adds my 3 bravado in, and then the result is bad news bears. Alright. You back into the rift until you smash against another vessel. When it's revealed to be your own ship, there's a serious freakout among your crew. You stay cool and manage to get out of there before the space police show up. So, the result is I lose 3 hull, but I gain no food. So that was a failure so far as events go. Alright, next up, I can either go to an asteroid belt, a collection of space rocks and debris, which will give us hull, or a Class O star. Class O stars are young and hot, like temperature hot, not attractive. My crew seems to be fine, but I could probably use some more hull after that. When you lose a certain amount of a resource, it goes yellow, and then when it gets really low, it turns red. So onward to the asteroid belt. The Lonely Asteroid. A lonely asteroid tumbles idly through space. Its barren exterior has no distinguishing marks except for a series of short, regular trenches carved across its surface. I can exploit the asteroid for raw materials, attempt to communicate, or examine it. That's kind of weird. I could either gain hull or lose hull. I think I'm going to go with diplomacy, though, because I can spare a few crew, but I want to get that hull. So attempt to communicate with the asteroid. You order communications to patch in the universal translator and send out a hailing signal. What the hell? Oh, god damn it. That's not good. Fearing you might have been overcome by space madness, a few crew members defect to a passing transport ship. Soon, bars everywhere are filled with tales of your mineral issues. So, not only did I lose 8 crew, but now my captain has actually lost some stats. He's lost 1 diplomacy and 1 bravado. That's probably going to hurt me later on in this playthrough. Shit. Okay. So now my only option is the Orange Nebula. Shifting brown and oranges make up this murky cloud formation. Oh, there are also events that can happen between different locations. You've encountered a gravestone. Sensors indicate that there is some sort of floating memorial nearby. Your navigator asks if you want to make a short detour to check it out. These can sometimes be good or sometimes be bad, but they're also based on the original Orion Trail, where if you failed the game, your last person that died was able to leave a gravestone that you could write on, and then future playthroughs you would sometimes come across those same gravestones. Take a shuttle and pay our respects. Wolfgang Lange, he defeated himself and won. Upon closer inspection, the entire grave is surrounded by stacks of gigantic metal plates. Weird. You borrow a few to reinforce your ship's armor since you don't want to end up like this fella. That's good, because now I have positive 2 hull, which gets us out of the yellow zone for hull. Set a course for savings. Sensors show a massive vessel approaching, and all channels are jammed with a catchy tune. It's an Omega Mart superstore. Galaxy Force ships can't repel bargains of this magnitude. Your crew turns to you with big doe eyes. This is gonna be costly. So I can lose fuel to get food. I can gain something random for the cost of fuel, or something random for the cost of hull. I think I'm going to go with science this time. My fuel seems okay. I don't really want to lose hull again, but the only thing that I've got above a 2 is tactics, which is not an option. So, time for some tech upgrades. Your science team screams like little kids as you announce on the intercom that the Indestructible II will be docking with the best bargain hemisphere of Omega Mart. You search your person for your rewards card before you disembark. This is probably not going to... Yeah, another failure. I'm not doing well this game. You wonder how all of these hull and thruster establishments could possibly stay in business when GalaxyNet sites like Danube make it so easy. Still, you enjoy immediate gratification. You pay the markup and tell yourself it was worth it. Good lord, that's a lot of fuel loss, but I gain a science. Jesus, we're now pretty low on fuel. Alright. Next options are either another asteroid belt, so I can get a random bonus, or a green nebula. A rich emerald green nebula. Most other nebulae are envious. You know what? I'll go for the nebula just because it's something I haven't done yet. Or plates I haven't visited yet. Another mid-trip event. Tad's Diary. While finishing a meal in the cafeteria, you spy a book underneath one of the tables. Upon closer inspection, it appears to be Tad's private journal. You should probably return it, but Tad is infamous for being kind of a jerk. I'll read it. You can't believe the stuff Tad writes in here. He acts all tough, but a lot of the stuff he's written reveals a different story. If Tad acts up in the future, you'll be able to knock him down a few pegs. Heh. So I gain a bravado. That's gonna help with the loss of stats I got earlier on. Crisis surprise party. You and the crew have been planning it for weeks. A surprise party in the cafeteria for your first officer. As you're walking down the hall towards the cafeteria, your first officer admits that they really, really hate surprise parties. Uh-oh. Both of them work with diplomacy, and I get something random and I lose something random. They really hate surprise parties? I think I'm going to warn them. You pull your first officer aside and warn them that everyone's planned a surprise party. You also explain that everyone worked really hard planning this. Hopefully this will smooth things over. Probably not, because... See, this is one of the bad things about evening out... Hey, critical success this time. This is one of the bad things about evening out your stats is now I've only got 2s and 3s, so at most I can get like a 50-50 on most events. Your first officer shrugs. Oh, I know. I'm not stupid. I was just messing with you. The officer elbows you in the ribs and starts laughing. You both walk into the cafeteria and the party is a raucous success. So, Colonel Bananas gets 1 bravado and 1 diplomacy, and I get a diplomacy. That will really help us out in the near future. Next up is a Class B star, a young, incredibly hot star. The young and the clueless. You are called in to handle crew drama. Apparently Tad and Alexis have been fighting. Dakota found out and made her move on Tad. Now Alexis is a mess, and Tad has threatened your transporter engineer, Skylar. Let's see. My highest would be tactics or bravado. I haven't done any tactics yet. Let Dakota know she needs to fix this. You decide to solve this problem at its most likely source, Dakota. So a slightly better than 50% chance of a success this time. And I still failed. Unfortunately, Dakota is in the cafeteria, where she is very likely to make a scene. She acts like she has no idea what you're talking about. Typical. You grit your teeth and take the high road by just walking away. So I lost a bravado out of that one. Looking ahead, though, I have quite a bit of map left. I think I can do the, what do you call it? The away mission. Class M star. Someone's broadcasting a message here. Another midway event. You assemble your entire routine roll call. You assemble your entire crew on the assembly deck for your scheduled mission roll call. Several people do not answer. Were they ever even here? That's a really weird one. So I've lost 2 crew. Already putting me pretty low on the crew now. Alright, forms and formalities. The Admiral hails you, asking for a quick favor. Can you retrieve the Jelliac ambassador from Nirbus 4? Your ship is closest. He understands if you don't have time. Why wouldn't you have time? The planet is just right there. Alright, assemble a team to fetch the ambassador. So, the away missions are slightly different in that you don't gain the entire ship's worth of stats. You only gain the stats from one of your crew members. So, I have to choose between Haruna, who has 3+1s, Colonel Bananas, who has... You know what? There's no real choice. Bananas, I think, is the man to go with. Just because he has 1 diplomacy, 1 bravado, and 3 tactics, whereas everyone else has either just +1s or a 1 and a 2. So I think it's Bananas is the way to go. Clear incoming customs. The team is herded into a long customs line. When your team finally reaches the booth and shows their interstellar passports, a stern uniformed hippoclop blinks its eye at Colonel Bananas and booms, "Anything to declare?" Of the options, I've got more tactics, so I'm going to lie. Why cause extra fuss? It's not like the team knows what's on what's on the no-no list for this planet anyway. Nope, says Colonel Bananas, adopting a hopefully convincing grin. We got nothing. So the probability drive is a little bit different this time. It's a lot bigger, and you start off with no successes, it looks like. Now, this time your stat bonus gives you critical successes, and then each of the 8 red shirts that came with you on the mission gives you a success. But if the drive lands on that square, you lose that character. All right. So there's my critical successes, and then all of the red shirt based successes. All right, so we are going to lose a person. A second hippoclop arrives, informing the team that they can enter, but only after all body hair has been shaved. Hair has been deemed an official health hazard. The team complies, including the one who, sadly, was made entirely of hair. Fascinating. So I lose one of the crew, but I gain a science out of it. Meet the ambassador. After customs, the team meets the Jelliac ambassador. It's awkward. Jelliacs are liquid beings. The ambassador is a jar of pink liquid with eyeballs floating in it. Creepy. Will you escort the jar to high command, or is this just too weird? See, this is when some of the options don't really have a clear requirement. I can offer to escort, verify that's the ambassador, or it's too weird, and tap out. I'm going to verify. Ambassador? Colonel Bananas begins. Yes, yes, said a voice echoing through the minds of the away team. I get awfully sick of this. Yes, I'm a liquid ambassador in a jar. Get over it. Awkward. And I lose my diplomacy. Clear outgoing customs. The team and the ambassador are ready to go. One problem, it's illegal to take more than 100 milliliters of liquid off the planet, says Nurbus 4's Terrorism Suspicion Agency. This throws a bit of a wrench into your mission. What will you do? Shit. Charge the gate, where I have 0 attack. Freeze the ambassador, which I do have the 1 science I gained out of this. Or, drink the ambassador? I'm going to try and freeze them. You won't be smuggling a liquid if you freeze the liquid. You order Colonel Bananas to set their phasers to chill out. The frozen ambassador will be able to pass right through customs. So only slightly more than a 50-50 on this one. Give me a push. Shit. You were right. The team can pass through customs with no problem. Unfortunately, your team is now in big trouble with the Jelliacs because they've assaulted and nearly killed their ambassador. Your crew must stand trial. So I lost 3 people out of that. Sweet Jesus. Unappealing. At the shuttle, the team finds an armed guard of hippoclops surrounding it. An audit of your customs paperwork finds that you failed to visit the space notary for the proper stamp. Your leave is denied. Proceed to customs immediately. I'm going to demand an appeal. Colonel Bananas is quick to demand an appeal. The highest ranking hippoclop sighs and escorts the away team to the appeals line, which is even longer than the customs line. Oh god, denied. The away team prepares for their customs appeal. Colonel Bananas steps up to the podium in front of an appeals committee of 3 angry hippoclops who will hear and rule on the appeal. I still have 1 sign. Ooh, nope. I've got tactics. Pretend I don't speak hippo. Colonel Bananas turns off their universal translator, shrugs, and acts as though none of the team can understand the hippoclops. For good measure, they start speaking exclusively in gibberish. It's still a 50-50, but that was probably the best option considering the, shit. They provide an interpreter who's completely incompetent, making crazy gestures with nothing to do with the conversation. The confused council stamps you through, but asks that 2 red shirts stay to teach your language to the interpreter. That's another loss of 2 crew. Jesus. Trial by combat? The team won its customs appeal, but now must obtain a specific sticker to be affixed to the shuttle, allowing departure from Nurbus 4 space. Enough, cries the ambassador telepathically. I invoke trial by combat. Wait, what? I think I'm still going to go with tactics, so choose the manner of battle. Colonel Bananas points out to the Hippoclops that if they are being roped into a fight as proxies, they should get to choose the manner of the battle and the weapons. The Hippoclops find this to be entirely reasonable. But still less than 50% chance thanks to all the loss of red. And I got a critical failure. Jesus. Colonel Bananas decides that whoever holds their breath longest underwater wins. Oh geez, these are hippos. What were you thinking? Most of the away team suffocates to death as the Hippoclops experience no inconvenience. So now I'm down to just me. Ambassador drop-off. Finally, you deliver the Jelliac Ambassador to the space station, where the Admiral is there to greet you. He thanks you for your help, then reminds you to be sure and fill out all of your away mission reports. I'm going to cry and fill out more forms. Colonel Bananas does what they're supposed to. They hate it, but they do it. Sigh. So I lose a bravado, but I get more tactics. Goopy appreciation. When the liquid Jelliac Ambassador returns to his watery planet, he tells tales of your bravery that inspire young Jelliacs. Several of them telepathically apply to join your crew. Oh, I'm going to approve, because I need crew. Who cares if they've got no arms or bodies? Their jars can be stored easily in a closet, and you just padded your crew numbers, so I get 1 science and 10 crew. Oh, thank God. So I got back all of the crew members I lost, and... Oh, I can look at the crew. And Bananas now has the best stats out of everybody, which means we've got... Wow! Where the hell did all that science come from? So I'm good on science and tactics, so hopefully those will be the ones to go for. But it looks like I am actually beyond my usual time limit for a video. So I'll have to split this mission into 2 because there's still quite a bit of distance to go. As always though, thank you for watching, and I will see you next time.